about that since before Natalie left, because I know so many guys who have gone through that, where a woman uses, this man is terrible, he did this and he did that, in order to get sympathy. But then there's also the situation where they say it's mean and terrible and horrible, and then they get back together with the guy and they're like, oh, it really wasn't that bad, or, you know, it actually happened like this, and then it happens again, and you're like, you just went back to the same dude who beat you 4 different times. I helped you move 4 different times. I mean, with Jamie, I only helped her move 3 or 4 times, but the only time that she ever told me that it was because somebody was beating on her was with you. The other times it was because she couldn't afford it, or because she was going to rent the place out, like because she had the trailer down there and her mom's house that she had at the same time. And that was her mom's house, yeah.
And I went in there and cleaned it up, redid everything. So,
yeah, she had 3 different houses.
Yeah, well, that one house, which I was a little irritated about because I got fucked out of the house, because mostly that was supposed to be the house I was buying, was the one on First Street. But it ended up, you know what? I let Jamie take care of that. I have no fucking idea what exactly happened. In the end, her family still got the house.
Alright.
So, but I just, you know what, that's done and gone. I'm not worried about it. You know, on that part. But, honestly, aren't you kind of seeing a pattern with the way she's doing things?
Yeah,
First
so...
I was raping, like, I raped people, and then now I don't. Like, who the fuck says that?
Sorry, I just gotta let the dog out because it was licking my arm, but I am listening.
Yeah, but you know, like, who says that kind of shit? And then now she says, oh, no, I never did that. Like, I make sure I'm very careful with making sure the cops are never called on me for abuse. Because they take one good look at me, and what is the first thing they're gonna see? I'm a big motherfucker, and I probably beat on her. Because that's all they care about. Because all it is profiling.
Well, that's what I've had to deal with. I mean, I was made homeless because of Natalie's death, and I had just been assaulted by my landlord's other roommate while my 2 landlords were screaming in my face. I mean, that's literally... I went from there to my friend Kayla Trujillo's house to try to get a lawyer, and to try to get... because I'd been trying to get a lawyer to go against Natalie for the slander and for the assaults that I was enduring over it. Basically, of course, you're a lot bigger than I am and in a lot better shape. I got a fucked up back and I'm about half your size, but people are a lot less likely to want to swing at you.
Well, my thing is like, if she said that kind of stuff, like, it wouldn't take much for them to be like, yeah, okay, he did it. So I'm like, really, because, like, I didn't see some of your videos and you said that I was in jail for beating on a woman.
Well, if that is incorrect, I do apologize. It was information that I was given.
I've only been to jail one time, and it had nothing to do with violence whatsoever. Like, it was a whole thing. Like, I got out of college and I got a DUI, basically, is what happened, and I spent a weekend in jail. That's the only time I've been in jail.
And I take it you don't do that no more?
What?
Drinking and driving?
Oh, I don't drink anymore.
Me neither, so that's good.
I haven't drank for, well, I mean, I can't say absolutely do not drink, but for the most part, I don't drink.
Yeah, I quit in 2001. I said I quit drinking in 2001. I was going to say,
I don't know.
when I was back in Chapel, I was actually in Chapel when Dusty's house burnt down. Now he was one of my bullies in high school. When I got kicked out of out of Lodgepole High School, it's because he was. We had Miss Susie for a substitute teacher in Mrs. Ford's class, and Dusty was trying to impress John Italish, so he was flicking pennies at me and quarters and shit like that, and fucking it pissed me off. So I got up and screamed at him, and that's why I got kicked out. Well, whereas I thought I was going to get kicked out over Dylan Bauer. But I offered to do whatever I could to help clean it up. I didn't know where he lived, so I let him know down at the Panther Den that I was looking to help him. I mean, I've helped out a lot of people since Natalie disappeared. I never stopped being that person. You know, when my friend Desiree was stuck in a trap house in Cheyenne, I went there and I fucking rescued her. And even though she stole everything that I had, fucking I went back and I rescued her a second time. People aren't as important as things. The thing about that computer, the reason that is so important is because it does have evidence.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So that's the thing. That's the reason that. As far as the thing with Jamie goes, like I told her once, and remember I was telling you about that post I was banned for 30 days for saying that I couldn't kill you. That was because Jamie had told me that, you know, you'd beaten her several times. That's the reason that she left. And I told her, you know what, it's a safety concern with the boy. So I don't give a shit about your problems, but
Alright, I guess that's the end of it. There's one more, but it has a lot of personal information. It's got a lot of people's names, and I'm really debating whether or not I should download it to YouTube under private or just keep it on my computer, because it really does take so long to download it. Now, the only reason for that is so that I can send James a link so that he has a link to it. See, all of the people that I talked about, I believe every one of them should have access to it. So why did I cut those people off? Good question, right? Those people that I blocked yesterday didn't have it in them to talk to me like a human being, or even make the effort before slandering my name. As far as James goes, he hasn't gone through 1/1000th of what I've gone through. But, it's still fucked up. It's not a situation he should have been put into. I mean, finding out not only that your girlfriend has another boyfriend, but also that you're the second boyfriend. And, well, Jamie, when she's playing, has a very bad tendency of trying to play guys off of one another. Get the guys to hate each other so that they're not going to talk to each other. That's what players excel at. What she was not expecting is for James and I both to not be that stupid. Kind of like the day that I sat with Hayden McCall on her front porch at her mother's old house. I remember that situation pretty well. That was right after her and James started dating. There was another situation where Jamie was messing around with Hayden's head, specifically with the intent of messing with Hayden's head. And that was a party that happened just before she started dating James. And she was not messing around with Dylan Tagmeyer, but basically flirting with him to try to make Hayden feel like shit. I didn't want to be a part of the situation, so I left and I went and sat in the vehicle that Rick Martindale had bought me. By the way, I tried to pay Rick Martindale back. I paid him about half of it, but he wouldn't take the other half. That's the van that I got stuck with, that I ran into the side of a harvester's vehicle because my foot got stuck between the doghouse and the gas pedal. Those of you who have ever owned an old Chevy van, you know what a doghouse is. That's access to the engine. But when this is before that vehicle got busted, I had gone over to visit with them all after I got done basically just trying to calm down from the bullshit that was going on. And like, I could feel Hayden so hard, you know. I mean, he was having a rough time, and it was obvious to everybody. I mean, the things that Jamie pulled that night were just, you don't do that to a man. But when I got back, Jackie was cleaning the house because Randy Linden had tore the place up. So me and Jackie spent the night cleaning it up. Took about 4 hours, but between the two of us, we got the job done. See, here's the thing, is that these people slandering my name, not only did I never do them wrong, but I helped them out a lot. A whole lot. Now, this situation between myself, James, and Jamie all could have been resolved years ago. But in order for Jamie to resolve it, she would have had to stop playing. And Jamie's not willing to do that. It's not James's fault that Jamie's a player. It's not Hayden McCall's fault that Jamie's a player. It's not Todd Rust's fault that Jamie's a player. It's not my fault that Jamie's a player. It's not the boys' fault that Jamie's a player. However, Todd is the only one who is not a grown-ass adult about it. Todd is also the only one who is married, and he's not married to Jamie. But he's more loyal to Jamie than he is to his own wife. Todd Rust claims to be a Christian. Now, when I talk about Todd, it's difficult to not get confused because there's Todd Rust here in Chapel, Nebraska, who's a real piece of work. He's got a tattoo on his arm that I drew, by the way. But there's also Todd Harmon, who I don't know if he's dating her anymore or not. I don't know if he gets on YouTube or checks any of this stuff, or if Jamie's going to try to keep this stuff from him. I would imagine so, because she gets a lot of free stuff out of Mr. Harmon. Just like she got a lot of free stuff out of James. She got a lot of free stuff out of me, and a lot of free stuff out of Todd Rust. Free stuff out of Clyde McNitt, and free stuff out of her friend Trevor. She leads them all on just enough that they think they might have a chance, and holds them off at just enough of a distance that they don't... Well, she's got to keep them from associating with each other is what it is. In order to do that, you have to tell all of the other guys that each one of the other guys that you're talking to or associating with is a terrible person, and that keeps them hating each other and not wanting to talk to each other. That's what happened to myself and Chris Stegeman's friendship. Chris Stegeman, though, he said he was sorry. This is a man who, by his own admission, believes that he's a sociopath. Yes, I have that recorded, and I will probably at some point try to download that as well. That's another hour-long conversation, though, and the last hour that I recorded has taken me since, I want to say 9 o'clock last night, and it is now 9:33 a.m. So it's taken 12 hours for me to download that 1 hour with James. Although Shannon Alvarado did call me and make it a big pain in the ass for about 2.5 hours of that. Also, though, this is the last part of that video, and I'm about to download it, so it'll probably take an hour and a half for this too, so it probably won't be done till closer to 11. I didn't sleep last night, and when I was getting tired, that's when Shannon called, so I suppose I should thank her for treating me completely like shit and getting me all riled up, for yelling at me and for assuming the worst in me and being a general nuisance. Also, because I did type very, very mean things to Miss Shannon, I must admit that. Instead of being an asshat and pointing out all of the mean, cruel, and unnecessary shit that she was saying and typing, I'm just going to admit to my faults for right now.